In just over a century, humans went from barely lifting off the ground, to crossing oceans in hours, to touching the edge of space. Aviation didn't evolve smoothly. It moved in eras, each one shaped by war, technology, fear, and ambition. In this video, we'll walk through every major era of aviation, from fragile wooden cloth planes to modern fly-by-wire airliners, and how each era changed the world. For thousands of years, flight was only an idea. People studied birds. They built gliders. They jumped from hills with wings made of wood and fabric. Most failed. What was missing wasn't courage, it was control. Early inventors could generate lift, but they couldn't reliably steer or stabilize an aircraft. Flight wasn't about power yet. It was about understanding air itself. That understanding would finally arrive at the start of the 20th century. The early 1900s marked the birth of powered flight. Aircraft were light, slow, and extremely fragile. Frames were made of wood, wings were fabric, engines were barely strong enough to lift the plane. But one breakthrough changed everything. Three-axis control: pitch, roll, and yaw. For the first time, pilots could actually fly, not just glide. Planes still crashed often. Flights lasted minutes, not hours. But aviation was no longer a dream. It was real. World War I transformed airplanes overnight. What started as reconnaissance platforms quickly became weapons. Aircraft gained stronger engines, synchronized machine guns, better aerodynamics. Dogfighting was born. Planes became faster, more maneuverable, and more reliable. Not because of safety, but because survival demanded it. By the end of the war, aviation had advanced decades in just a few years. After World War I, aviation shifted from combat to connection. This era introduced passenger flights, airmail, long-distance records. Aircraft designs became sleeker and more efficient. All-metal airframes replaced wood. Cockpits became enclosed. Flying was still risky, but now it was useful. Airplanes were shrinking the world. World War II pushed aviation harder than ever before. Aircraft became faster, heavier, deadlier. This era produced long-range bombers, high-performance fighters, early pressurized cabins, radar and navigation systems. Jet engines also appeared, quietly at first, setting the stage for the next revolution. By 1945, aviation technology had fundamentally changed forever. The jet age redefined flight. Jet engines allowed aircraft to fly higher, fly faster, fly farther. Commercial aviation entered a new era. Transcontinental and transoceanic flights became practical. Cabins were pressurized. Flights became smoother. Air travel became mainstream. But jets also introduced new dangers. Speed reduced reaction time, and early designs learned lessons the hard way. As rockets reached space, aviation borrowed their ideas. Aircraft began using swept wings, advanced materials, high-altitude flight techniques. Experimental planes flew at the edge of the atmosphere. Some pilots experienced conditions closer to space than Earth. Even today's airliners carry lessons learned from this era. By the late 20th century, computers entered the cockpit. This era introduced fly-by-wire systems, flight envelope protection, digital displays. Planes became more stable than humans could ever manage alone. Instead of pilots physically controlling surfaces, computers translated their inputs, preventing stalls, overstress, and loss of control. Aviation became safer, but also more complex. Today's aviation era is defined by reliability. Modern airliners are tested far beyond normal limits, monitored constantly, designed with redundancy. Engines can fail. Systems can malfunction. The aircraft keeps flying. What once required hero pilots now relies on systems built to expect failure and survive it. Flying today is statistically safer than almost any other form of transport. Aviation is entering another transition. The future includes electric and hybrid aircraft, autonomous systems, sustainable fuels, urban air mobility. The goal is no longer just speed or altitude, it's efficiency, accessibility, and environmental survival. The next era may change aviation as much as jets once did. Every era of aviation was built on lessons learned, often the hard way. Each crash taught something, each risk improved the next design, and every time you board a plane today, you're flying on the accumulated knowledge of over a century of human trial, error, and ambition. If this helped you understand aviation better, leave a like. And if you enjoy deep explanations like this, consider subscribing.